At the end of my Bali videos, I said Australia was a story for another video. Well, this is that story. And if you've watched those Bali videos, you'll know I'm not really much of a bowl skater. In fact, when I was in Bali, I actually changed plans to avoid a skate park because it was mainly a bowl. But looking back at some of the footage from Australia, I realised something. There was a time when I could actually skate bowls. So what happened? And why can't I do this now? There's actually a story behind why I ended up skating so many bowls whilst I was in Australia. And let me just explain that to you before anything else. I'd gone to an older skate park, one, to be honest, that wasn't really very good. And I could have easily left it off my list of skate parks I wanted to visit, but it was pretty close to one that I really wanted to go to. So I thought I may as well give it a go whilst I was in the area. And well, that turned out to be a bit of a mistake on my part. While at that park, I ended up injuring my toe pretty bad. And as usual, when you get a pretty bad injury, it wasn't even doing anything majorly good. I was just trying to ollie over the pyramid and I clipped or hit something, I'm not sure what happened, and as I fell, I flung straight over the pyramid myself. My body went into the ramp, but my toe just smacked on the top of the ramp, and that is what caused the injury. It's not the kind of trick you would expect to derail your plans, but hey, that's skateboarding. The worst part of it was I went to that skate park before going to the better one. So I still wanted to make the effort and go to the better one because I was looking forward to it. But now all of a sudden I couldn't skate the street section that I was hoping to skate. Now that is where the bowl came in. I could skate the bowl without putting the same sort of pressure and strain on the toe. So I decided to try and stick to transition and give the bowl a go. Now, I wasn't exactly confident at doing this, and dropping in wasn't something I spent a lot of time doing. So whatever I got was going to be a bonus. But because of the injury, I had no choice but to start trying to skate then. And the more I did, the more comfortable I became with it. Eventually, I was dropping in, riding around the bowl, and I actually started enjoying myself. And before long, I was doing things on a skateboard that I probably wouldn't have expected to do. Now, I wasn't all of a sudden a professional bowl skater, but I felt comfortable. I could drop in, I could ride round the bowl, and occasionally get the odd trick on the coping. And it wasn't such a big stressful thing trying to drop into it. At the time, I didn't think much of it. I'd injured my toe, I couldn't skate the way I'd planned, so I found another way to skate and explore the parks. But looking back at it now, I realised just how comfortable I became skating the bowls. Because if you'd have asked me then whether I was a bowl skater, I would probably have still said no. But looking back at the footage, it was starting to come together and I was at least becoming a bit of a beginner bowl skater. Fast forward to now and things are very different. I still certainly don't consider myself a bowl skater, but that's for a different reason. Now dropping in is something I have to build myself up to do, even just on smaller ramps. And I just don't understand why now it's such a mind field of a battle compared to what it was back then. Clearly I can do it, but something in my brain just tells me I can't. I mean, the simple answer is that I just stopped dropping in on any ramp, really, for too long. Once my toe had healed, I went back to the kind of street skating style that I normally enjoy. And bowls and transition has become something I didn't skate anywhere near enough. And like anything on a skateboard, if you stop doing it for so long, the confidence just starts to disappear and the struggle becomes more and more real. So maybe it's not that I can't do it. Maybe I've just forgotten how to be comfortable doing it. And I suppose that's one of the interesting things about looking back at old skate footage. Sometimes you see yourself doing things that you've just not done for so long, you completely forget that you used to be able to do it. So looking back at this trip, I went to Australia to skate and see my daughter. I injured my toe at a pretty poor skate park doing a very average trick, and somehow that ended up changing the way I skated for the rest of the trip. I probably wouldn't have even touched a bowl if I hadn't have ended up with this injury. And if that had happened, I would have probably never become comfortable with being in a bowl at any stage. But that just shows me that if I put my mind to it and I put the bit of time and effort back into it, I should hopefully be able to get it back. Now I know I've just spent this whole video talking about bowls, but not all my Australia skating was about bowls. There was a time before I injured my toe, and maybe slightly towards the back end of the trip where it was starting to heal a little bit better, where I explored other parts of skate parks around Australia. Now, on them skate parks, there are some seriously top-notch skate parks over there, and I visited quite a few of them on this trip. And after talking about all the skate parks I visited in Bali on one of the previous videos, maybe it's time we look back at some of the Australia ones. So come back next week, guys, and we'll take a look at the skate parks of Perth, Australia and the surrounding areas. I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope you'll join me next time for another skate story.